And there we are. Actually, I feel like we shouldn't be yet. I feel like I need my coffee first. Should I go get my coffee first? Okay. Give me 1 second. I have to hobble off and grab my coffee. One sec. Yeah. No, you're okay. You're okay, boy Britta. Hello. We're going to be reviewing ABC Nemesis. If you want to watch the program along with me, you have to do something with YouTube. Unfortunately, TikTok does not let me stream. I don't have that one. Oh, thank you so much. I don't have the ability to stream from my computer on TikTok. So if you'd like to watch Nemesis along with us, you will have to join us over on Twitch and YouTube, which is, sorry, I've broken my foot, so I'm hobbling around like a bit of a numpty at the moment. Oh, here we go. But we are live on both of those platforms. Hello. Thank you for joining. Oh, lordy, lord. I'm going to see if I can try and convince a special guest to join me today. We'll see how we go. See how we go, convincing a special guest to join us today while we review the next episode. I unfortunately have broken my foot. I'm not exaggerating. I took a wrong turn last night. I took a wrong step last night, and yeah, I don't know what I start. My feet go to sleep if I'm sitting for any length of time, like any length of time at all. And I stood up. Hey, Amy, are you going to join us in the live today? What? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. I've been restricted again on TikTok. This is why I'm moving over to another platform. Oh, hey, broken foot twin. How the hell did you... Have you broken your foot recently? Is this something that happened recently? What the hell's going on? What have you done? Here we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. I've got we got the chats happening. Oh gosh almighty. No, what happened? You have to tell me the story. Oh, you dickhead. Ping somewhere when you're live. I will. All right, hang on. Let me. Okay. All right. Where is the link? Let's go. I've got to do the invite link in case anyone wants to join first of all. Here we go. And we're live. There we go. Barely. I feel like I need to warn everybody that I'm probably not going to last the full episode today. Just sitting here, I am in so much pain. I'm not lying. I'm fucking not lying. Oh my God. I went down like a ton of bricks. Well, I actually didn't go down. Like I stood up and my feet, as I said. I hope, like, here we go. Not just me, just post in the Discord or something. Yeah, okay. I do hope I got your message the other night and I was like, I hope you're actually not, if I have upset you at all with the ribbing, let me know and I will stop. I swear it wasn't Emery slander. It wasn't Emery slander. We all love you, Ems. We couldn't do this without you. The message I got from you in hang on a second, I'm just going to post the link for, oh no, continue. I'm going to post this link as well. There we go. Copy. Share. Here we go. Hey. Hello. I feel like I need to tell everybody that the only reason I'm even slightly professional is because Emery keeps me on track. Oh, right. No, I'm being very soppy and affectionate, but about it, I was dealing with my Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought so. I did think so when I saw your message. I gave me a bit of a chuckle. Because you were very, very much missed. You were very much missed. Everyone will tell you. It just, hey, welcome. Yeah, the only person who even keeps us a little bit on track is Emery. So everyone can thank Emery that we're even a little bit on track at any particular point in time. Um, but yeah, okay. So I was walking. Well, I wasn't walking. Sorry, I was sitting at the table. I was right at my ex's place, and my daughter wanted to tell me something. She had you weren't there on Monday and it showed. Yes, that's true. It's true, Ems. You weren't there on Wednesday and it definitely showed. Uh I'm the embodiment of chaos eternal. That's true, actually. That is true. In this space, the most chaotic thing is to keep everyone on track. How much have I missed? Not much at all. We've barely started. I'm running a little bit behind today because I let everyone in the Discord know that I broke my foot, and so I was running a bit late. I was hobbling around the house a fair bit. Everyone misses me. Oh, you reminded me of the game. Damn it. Yep, definitely. Definitely. Well, we all win because we get to be friends with you, Em. So we all win because you're our friend. So nah. We did get through a lot on on Wednesday. Um yeah, so anyway, I was at my ex's house and my daughter, this is about how I broke my foot. My daughter wanted to tell me a story about something that had happened to her, but she didn't want to say it at the table because my ex's housemate was there, his housemate's mum was there, another person was there, and so she was a bit embarrassed to share the story at the table. So she asked me to go inside with her, and I was like, "Yeah, no worries." So I stood up from the table, and my foot was asleep, and I didn't realize, and I took a step, and I landed on the side because it wasn't properly flat. Now, I've always my ankles roll quite easily, so I've never had this sort of issue before. But because it was asleep, it didn't roll. It just kind of landed flat and went crunch underneath me. So it's like this bone here in the foot is where it's broken. And yes, it is very sore. Yours is less embarrassing than mine. So everyone's fucking broken their feet. Like everyone's feet are just broken all over the place. Tell us what happened to your foot, Amy. Tell us what happened to your foot. Yeah. It was not pleasant. I'm not gonna lie. It's not pleasant now, even just sitting here. So I am probably we're doing brunch Sunday. Yeah. I might actually need to borrow that. I'm not kidding because yeah. I'll meet you at your place. We'll go from there. I'll just sit on your lap, Ems, and you can drive me around town. Wheelchair train. Yeah. Oh, I was reading the comments on his. Uh, oh, Huey the cook joined TikTok. Oh no, this is how you broke your foot. My dog had not been out to the toilet, so I was reading the comments out loud to my wife, and then my dog is walking in front of me, proceeds to step barefoot in it. Oh, you missed an appointment? Oh, no, I hate when you've done that. Flung my foot up into the wall. Oh, no. It's a heavy duty electric wheelchair. It's got 300-kilogram capacity, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, dogs proving you should never ignore them. Yet snapped my toe. I didn't even cry, I laughed so hard. Oh, well, I honestly my foot was still asleep at first when I did it. I didn't even realize I'd done it, so I just kept walking, and then after a few seconds, I was like, "No, this fucking." The funny thing is, Huey liked my comment. Did you tell him saying he was responsible for my broken foot? Oh, at 11 to 12. It's only 9:30. What are you talking about? You got plenty of time. Sorry, I'm over on the West Coast, so I yeah. Sorry. Could someone please tell me how to find Tamara on YouTube and Twitch, please? So if you go up into my link on my page, on my profile, there's a link to the Discord. On the side of the Discord, if you go, sorry, there's a link to my Ko-fi. If you go to my Ko-fi, you don't have to donate or anything, but on the side there'll be a link. On the side, there's links to my Twitch, my YouTube, like all of that stuff's on my Ko-fi. There's also updates and stuff. And if you do want to follow me on Ko-fi, that's where I'll usually post. I mean, you should definitely join the Discord. That's what you should do, because that's where I let people know when I'm actually going live as well. When Emery reminds me. Lots of accidental doxing. Whoops. Yep. Oh God. Oh, what did I say? What did I say? I just doxed myself and I can't even remember what I said. Oh well. Thank you so much. No, you're okay. Don't stress. You're not interrupting. This is all the fun. What did I say? Discord is where you may tell us you might be live. Yeah. Discord is where you may tell us that you might be live. Yeah. It's where you might found out. Oh, you accidentally doxing yourself. Okay. Because yeah, I am also lap it up. That's the best way to go. Wheelchair trade. I'm all for that. Yeah, see if you can make your way out of the labyrinth to Discord. Yeah, give it a go. What camera am I using? I'm using the inbuilt camera in the computer because I figured out that if I close the windows behind me so that this light wasn't blaring in, it actually isn't too bad quality. Oh God, where is the camera located? It's located in my living room at the moment. We do not deserve to see Tamara. Do we not? Get on the Ko-fi. Yep. Fix this for us. Yes, so we've started a Ko-fi for anybody. I've started what's it called? I don't even know what's it fucking called. It's called what's it called? Someone help with my brain. What's my brain doing? I've started hello, fellow random internet folk. Thank you for the levity. No worries. Thank you for joining us. Honestly, why haven't I clowned with Emery in the comments before? You've been missing out. Everybody who has not been clowning around with them in the comments is completely missing out. They are the coolest. Absolutely. So I'm very excited actually that we're doing brunch on Sunday. I get to hang out with Emery in person. So you and Belle teasing me for how you guys get to meet up in person. I'm like, well, I get to hang out with Emery. So but yes, we have started a Ko-fi goal to doxer, no doxing. Yeah, doxer, no doxing. We need a little companion, what's his name? Flipping hell, my brain is just not working at all today. I didn't sleep very well. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. I didn't sleep very well because of my foot. Like I could not fall asleep. I had a little foxy doxy man. I could not sleep very well last night. So my brain's a little bit today. I'm a little bit. Ugh. It's because I have a broken foot. Yeah. I do also. Yeah, I will say I do. I definitely have a broken foot. It very much is very painful. I'm not enjoying having a broken foot at all. Yes, as a fellow broken-footed person, you can understand. And empathize. I appreciate that. But yes, we have started a Ko-fi goal to get a webcam, just to get Emery off my back. No other reason. I'm completely fine with this shitty quality. I'm completely fine using my phone as a camera. However, it does send our dear friend Emery into a conniption. So we deserve HD. Yes. You are the what do you call it? Advocate for the people, Ems, an advocate for the people. Well, I'm not gonna be doing it for very long today, I got to admit. Yeah, I'm in a fair bit of pain, so we're probably only gonna be here until maybe 11, maybe 12 if we're lucky, if I can push it that far, but yeah, we've got so many people joining us today. I feel bad that today is the day that give the people the HD. I have downloaded, an open an OBS. Downloaded OBS so that I can put the chat on the screen for everyone to enjoy as well, because I do think that this would be a lot more enjoyable if people could see the chat and it wasn't just me talking to the chat that no one can see. If you are joining us over on TikTok, then yep, jump on the link on my profile and that'll take you to the Ko-fi with the links for all the other stuff. including including the Discord, which you have to struggle to find, but that's how we know that you really want to be there. Just for the demos. You need better overlay. Yeah, I do need better overlay, particularly because I struggle to click on the boxes most of the time. Like I struggle to click and then unclick and like yeah, I'm not very dexterous. Yeah, not sure TikTok will be around much longer. And look, to be honest, I'm gonna get blasted regardless. Yeah. Not sure TikTok will be around in the US much longer. No. Interesting that. I gotta say, I did find that quite an interesting development because I mean, not really. It's just the US doing what it does, the greedopoly that they are. But yeah, I'm not particularly worried about it, to be honest, because I mean, I think in the entire time I've been on TikTok, the years I've been on TikTok, I think I've made like $4 total from TikTok. And I've made community, but that's why we've got a Discord. That's why we've got, we're doing the streams and that now because we want to keep the community. But TikTok itself isn't like it doesn't get to decide whether or not we do that. I mean, TikTok restricted my live today because I'm wearing a singlet. They do it all the bloody time. If I'm not wearing like a shirt, I get immediately restricted, as though somehow my shoulders are inherently sexual. Sleeping on my democracy joke. Oh no, am I? Oh no, what did I? Oh, Amy, the people have spoken. Yes. Oh my God, of course. Now we've got, of course, because like James Patterson, the senator, was like, Australia should follow suit because we are not Australia's little brother. We're not America's little brother. We're America's little bitch. You pinned it. You pinned it. Is TikTok the Mormon church? Massive gains there, TikTok. Thanks for paying the support creators. Yep. Yep. And honestly, and people say all the time, I had a video reach 1 million views and like I constantly get like 1 million views and I'll be lucky to get $100 out of TikTok. I'm like, I've gone viral so many times and I'll be lucky if I don't get harassed by racists. Like I'll be lucky if people don't start trying to dox me. I don't get jack shit for the shit I do, except the warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart when people comment and tell me that I have helped to open their minds and change their minds about things. That is why I do this. And that is valuable. Like, I'm not going to lie. So at some point I need to tell you how I know him. You do. Maybe put that. I don't know if the story is appropriate for the chat. If it's not, you can always pop it up on TikTok. But yes, I will. I downloaded OBS. So as soon as over the weekend, I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to sort that out. And we're taking our live streaming to the next level. And we're going to have the chat in overlay. I'll signal you. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe at mine we can go through how to set this all up real good. Oh, okay. There you have it. Em feels so bad for me that they're going to actually help me set up my stream properly. everyone's jelly that I get to hang out at mine. Of course. Everyone with any common sense is jealous that I get to hang out at yours. Of course they are. You also have just like the coolest fucking place in the coolest fucking location that I'm not gonna dox. Like, it's fine. Not Yes. Em is doing the Lord's work. No. No. No, I do, I had someone the other day when I made a TikTok the other day being like, "Oh, busy trying to do things before a meeting." No, 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 don't stress at all. We're happy to have you here. We're grateful that you've joined us today. Super fun. I know. Like, oh god, how pissed would you be at me if I just fucking yeah. No, we won't be doing that. We will not be doing that. Definitely not. Um, I was actually going to say as well because I don't know, I have such shitty internet where I am. I had something the other day. I posted a comment about how I live in a rural location, and I had people commenting being like, person of a rural location, because I have when I visit the city, I will tag my location when I'm up there. And people were saying, "Oh, we've seen you tag yourself in Perth. You live in Perth." And I was like, "I don't, but I'm not stupid enough to tag myself where I live because the town I live in has like not that many people." So, no. Uh Yeah. I played laser tag with Joe's Patterson when I was in year 12. More details, please. That's so juicy info. I have tried to convince Em to jump on Signal before. It's it's not the most user friendly. About the size of my town. What have I said? God almighty. What have I said? Um It's not the most user-friendly, app for everyone to use, unfortunately, which is why I also started the Discord, because I feel like it's we can make a group chat on the Discord, though, a private group chat on the Discord. Oh, but it's not, yeah, but Signal protects you from the government's prying eyes as well. That's the only other size. About the size of the town. Did I say where I live again? You look like KT. I don't know who that is, but I'm hoping that that's a compliment. Thanks. A private voice chat. Yeah, cool fun. No, not a private voice chat. Did I say voice chat? I just meant private message. I'm so loopy today. I'm so loopy. I haven't had any pain meds or anything. Meds. I haven't had any pain meds or anything. I'm just super bloody loosey. You're eating it. Oh, cool. Trotha, Signal doesn't protect you from Big Bro, I'm sad to say. I have actually seen when they ask for evidence of communications, I have seen what they provide. And it is like the time and the date and the two numbers that the message was sent between. So if one of you is in trouble, another one might be implicated, but it doesn't show the contents of that message. So it does protect you a little bit. A little bit more, tell it like it is. Thanks. Thank you. I do try. I do try. So it's a little bit more protective than other modes of communication. But one day I am going to be, in court, and they are going to be playing back my live streams as all the evidence they need that I'm an enemy of the state. And I won't have an argument. I'll have to go, yeah, fair call. Like the woman from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, to be like, if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's a witch, and we can burn her. Oh, we're ex-colleagues. We're ex-colleagues. I DM'd you to gossip about our ex-boss. Didn't know you deal with doxers. Apologies if that's what you thought I was doing. Oh, no worries. If you wanna reach out to me and like have a conversation, the best way to do that's going to be through the Discord. And you can direct message me on the Discord. That's like not a problem at all. I'm more likely to check my messages there than I am in TikTok, like anywhere else. um, but yeah, no, absolutely, CJ. Send us a message. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Yeah. Send us a message. I'm all up for gossip about ex bosses. I was going to say, don't tell me where it was we worked together, because that might give away where I live too. But yes, I will say, yeah, absolutely. If you don't have an ASIO file on you, then what are you doing with your life? I have said this before. There was a bit of a beef going off on TikTok where one guy was having these issues and he was blaming this one person for it, who I knew without a shadow of a doubt was not responsible. And I made a TikTok going, if you've only got one person who you can imagine hating you that much, then you need to try harder. Like, do better. You need to. I piss more people off every day before breakfast. Like, honestly. And it is true, because all you need to do to piss people off is point out the hypocrisies in the world that's going on, you know? I feel like I've stumbled into a controversial channel. Yes. Yes, you have. Be warned. This is the path to have you read Andreas Malm's How to Blow Up an Oil Pipeline? We have to put that on the book list. We have to put on the book club book list. We have a book club now on the Discord, guys. Our first book that we're reading, listening to, the links are in there. So listen and read away. And I need to start a poll. Yes, read Hunger Pangs. Yeah, I think I already doxed myself anyway with regards to him. The message storage is Alan Amazon backbone. It isn't safe, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Shay, we are talking, at the moment we're talking about doxing. At the moment we're talking about doxing. And I would really like to know where CJ knows me from, but I am worried about getting doxed on here, because depending on where we know each other from depends on how they're going to know me, like who they're going to know me as. Because I have had different iterations of myself throughout time. One mainly being the Bible waving nut job. Yeah, take that chat to message for sure. Yes. And anyone who would like to join the Discord, the link is up on the Ko-fi. The link for the Ko-fi is on my profile if you're watching on TikTok. If you're watching on here, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one up for you. I'm going to see if I can no, that's not what I'm doing. I'll put a link to the Ko-fi. I'm going to see if I can put a link to the Ko-fi on here. Let's go. Buttons and widgets. Stream alert. Is that what I want to do? Stream alert? No. Yeah, that would be it, wouldn't it? I reckon. Let's send a test alert. Did that work? Oh, no, that didn't work. Love how you describe young Tamara. Yum. Your girls don't believe there was a young mum. Tell them about the labyrinth. I feel like if it really was a labyrinth, it would be more fun. I feel like trying to describe where all the links are is more embarrassing than that. I feel like if I was like, it's a treasure hunt and you have to find us, that would at least have a little bit of a bit of charm to it. Really, it's just like, you got to go here to go here to go here. Yeah, you don't. I know, right? I don't even have a minotaur. Put some work into it. God. You can help me with that this weekend, Em. You can help me with that on Sunday. Oh Lord. We have fun here. I feel like we can actually, here we go. Is this paste this URL? Click here to send a test. Did that work? Did that work? Yes, That worked. Visit my Ko-fi page. There you go. That worked. It didn't work on YouTube, but it did work on. Oh, I can just do that. Well, okay. I forget because you're on Twitch. They don't block comments. They don't block links and bullshit. Get over to the Twitch. Get over to the Twitch. Does the with a Bible and swinging from a juggle church bell who moved across to LDS as a teen? Yeah. Yep. And then we finally managed to get books up. Yep. Absolutely. And if you want to put recommendations on there, now recommendations just for recommended reading can be anything. Twitch is where all the cool kids are. This is where the party's at. True. If you do want to recommend a book for book club reading, the only caveat for book club is that it has to be freely available somewhere in some form. We have to be able to provide people a means to access the book that isn't going to cost them anything. But I am actually working. So there's a audiobook subscription place called Libro FM, which I have reached out to them and I've been talking to them about doing some kind of arrangement to perhaps get access to books. So I'll need to learn Twitch. This is there are plenty of people over there who will be more than happy to help you out with that. Okay, put Hangapungs on the list and I will personally purchase everyone their own EPUB file of it. Okay. Oh God, all right. Let's put Hangapungs on the list. I'm sure I can get a free audiobook copy of it for everyone. I'm sure I can at least get a free audiobook copy for everybody. And if I can't, I will read it myself and make it an audio file for everyone to read. Where is everyone watching you? Twitch or Discord? So there's a group of people watching over on Twitch. There are a few watching over on YouTube. If people can't find things book-wise, there are multiple places to find them. Yep. And a lot of, like, if you go on to, even like YouTube, if you go onto YouTube, YouTube's got a lot of open source audiobooks that, you can find and read. A lot of the classics, that's how I read a lot of the classics, because who's got, don't admit to copyright infringement on Maine. Okay. Yeah, true. It's fine. So, what's the watching agenda for today? Good job, Em's keeping us on track. The most chaotic thing to do in this chaotic hellscape. Today we are watching the last episode of Nemesis. We're up to series 1, episode 3, the Morrison years, and I have not watched ahead. I have maintained my word to y'all, and I am going in. This is my live reaction to it, and I'm glad. Yeah, I know. A full episode of Smuggo. I feel sick, to be honest. I actually feel sick. And I'm glad we've got so many with us today, because dropping in to say I love your mug. Oh, thank you. Yep. Support mob wherever you can. Even if it's, at Goodwill because somebody bought them and then I actually have 2 sets of these because I bought one set from Kmart and then I was at the op shop and I saw another set there and I was like, yeah, maybe I can find a whole heap of them and I can just have my cool. These are my favorite coffee mugs, honestly. They're such a good shape to hold in your hand. Oh, they're just the best. Absolutely the best. Oh, okay. Promise not to mute your microphone today because we all want to hear the reactions. Yep. I apologize massively for that the other day. I was having a good old fucking rant. And I was on mute, which was very disappointing for everyone involved. Now, if you are watching over on TikTok, I apologize. You're not going to be able to hear Nemesis playing in the background, but you will be able to hear my reaction to it. This is why we need Emery's in attendance at all times. signing up to Twitch now. No worries, Shay. Shay's feeling left out. I can still see your chats over on the YouTube. It is. I will just say though, the video though, I love it. Yeah. Yep. Yep. There you go. There's the helpful comment from Lekno. Ah, and you're over on the TikTok as well. Oh, I'll link the YouTube video of Alex Friedman's interview with Tucker Carlson, where Tucker says his signal conversations are monitored. Okay, I will have to check that out. Always need Emery's. Absolutely. True words have never been spoken. Agreed. I will have to check that out. Yeah, I do know that Signal is the one that like political parties use Signal. The unions over here use Signal. If I want to contact, Ms. Kane, for example, Christy Kane, Mr. Kane, I would do that on Signal. That's going to be the place where, he's going to respond. Yeah, I will look into that though, because that's a worrying thought. That is a worrying thought. Yeah, the other day we spoke for nearly 2 hours and did about 30 seconds of the doco, and we're only half an hour in today. We're only half an hour in. Turns out I managed the talent. Absolutely, absolutely. If I ever actually go professional, you will be my manager. I am trying to make a career out of this. I just can't. I can't manage to turn up on time. Sure, we already got it. You already got that far because I signed off. That is true. We did manage to get through the episode in the end, though. But saying that, let's get started. Again, to the guys who are watching over on TikTok, follow the link on my profile over there to the Discord, where all the links for everywhere else you can find me, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, all of that's on the Ko-fi. Get on the Ko-fi. Get this bitch a webcam. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I tell you what though, you know how you said to me, I bet you underestimated the cost of your tires? Yeah, by half. By half, I underestimated the cost of my tires. I thought it was going to cost me about 300. Nope. The first quote I got said 800, and I went, and he said, "Can't afford that." And I went, "Well, I would like to eat. I do still need food, and I don't know if you've been to Woolies recently, but like it's $100 to go and buy bread and milk and coffee." Honestly, it did. It cost me $100 at Woolies yesterday, and I bought coffee, cream, butter for my recipe. I was making, baking, doing all my baking. What else did I buy? Oats. I didn't buy any meat. There was no meat in my trolley. I had a Woolies voucher. I got given a Woolies voucher when my partner and I split, when my ex and I split, he drained all the bank accounts. And so I went to the women's shelter because I also had to leave the house. And they provided me with a couple of Woolies vouchers and things, but I was working at the time, so I didn't need them. Like they just kind of sat in my wallet. I since have had to give up work due to my health. And yeah, I've been using the vouchers, which has been helpful to have them. But yesterday was the last of my vouchers that I used. I do most of my shopping at Food Bank, which, is helpful to have access to that. But there's some things you can't get there. And like coffee is one of them. Like you don't get coffee. It's really hard to get like fresh, like to get dairy. It's really like, you get a lot of your dry ingredients and stuff, but dairy is a hard one to get there. So I was using my Woolies vouchers to get all those kinds of things. And yeah, unfortunately I'm out of Woolies vouchers now. So whew. Yeah, get over to Twitch. We can swear real good. Yeah, get on the Ko-fi. Yep. Making you aware to check your bank. No, what did you do? What did you do? No. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't. Oh, that was. Don't read that. Okay. Well, it shows up on my phone when you message me. I was trying to not make this on stream. It shows up on my phone when you message me. You're the only one. You're the only one who I get alerts for on my phone, honestly. I was trying to not make this on stream. Yeah, okay, all right. I won't. I'll read it later. And I'll tell you off later. I'll save that for later. Let's start watching this before I get embarrassed. All right, we're going to present our shared screen. And this is our last episode, don't forget. So whoever wants to recommend... What? Wrong one. Wrong screen. Share screen. Tamara Inception. There it is. That's the correct one. There we go. There we go. Ah, look at that. All right. Are we ready to go? Are we feeling ready to inception? I'm not dyslexic, you are. I read it as Tamara. So I probably am. Tamception. Yes. All right, we've corrected that. Any ideas for what we should review after this too, by the way, because we're on to our final episode. And given that I'm streaming alone today, we might actually make it through. There might actually be some progress. No promises. But should we get started? Shall we get started? You guys, I honestly, this is why I still stream despite the broken foot, because you guys make my day. Absolutely. Hey, Love Bubble Goo. We are over on.
We play a little word game with everyone. A little word association.
Fun. I've been warned about this.
It's getting around. And you're prepared, I see.
Okay. Oh gosh. Now I am scared.
What one word pops into your head when I say Scott Morrison?
Oh, now I'm worried. What are they going to say?
That's a good question.
They didn't have any issues with the others. What? Why are we talking to Marky Mark?
What would you say about him?
What one word springs
What's he
to mind
doing
when
here?
I say Scott Morrison?
Bulldozer.
Genuine. Ideologue. Divisive.
Determined. Full throttle.
Stubborn.
Decent. Slippery. Look, I got on with him, so I don't want to be one of the... I'm sure you'll have many haters. I'm not one of them.
Misunderstood. Patriot.
So Marky Mark couldn't think of a good word to say about him. He just had to say, I'm sure you have a lot of haters. I'm not one of them. But he couldn't think of a good word to use for him. Like friendly. Like, couldn't think of a good word. He said, you have a lot of haters. I'm not one of them. But I'm sorry, I can't think of a word to describe him because all of the words I think of are negative.
Dedicated.
Driven.
Leader.
The spy, yeah. True, yeah.
He's a complex individual, and I find it hard to summarise him in one word.
Yeah,
Very
see?
controlling.
I've been saying that.
Lucky.
I've been saying that I think he's the...
Smoke.
I'll just read out a few about you.
Smoke.
It's quite a range.
All human beings are complex. I'm no different.
It was a difficult operation to be part of, sometimes, the Morrison government. There was a real agenda of command and control, and I would call that megalomania.
The laugh, ew, yeah. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Controlling. Oop. Yeah, I bet he does it to his family too, 100%. I still think that it was Morrison who was the spy. I know I'm among the few who think that, but I do think the timing of his retirement, when you look at, okay, when you look at when any of these like politicians retire, really, it's never of their own volition, really. It's never of their own volition. Why would you just give up a cushy, job where you get paid to basically sit on the back bench and do fuck all? I, he retired and then this info came out. Like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. As if he's retiring on politics from anyone else's terms except in dire straits. Yeah. And so same thing happened when Mark retired. When Mark McGowan retired, I said, now we just have to wait for the scandal to break. And then we found out about the Perth Mint issues, which was a lot less publicised. There was a lot less information shared about what happened in the Perth Mint. It didn't last in the media for anywhere near as long because he was no longer premier when that story broke. He was no longer our premier. It didn't get like as big a turn in the news cycle as it should have done. Yeah, that was the timing. It was literally like a day later. And, Mark McGowan, beloved premier, retiring was all over the paper. The fact that he was also the minister in charge of the Mint while this scandal was going on did not last in the papers at all. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the timing. And so when this happened, I was like, Yeah, I don't understand how everyone's forgotten in a week since this broke. I know. We're not talking about the fact that literally, like, there was a traitor in our government and we're just protecting them. Meanwhile, you can be thrown into solitary confinement and not even be allowed to see the evidence being used against you in a court of law for possessing a thing that could be related to a possible terrorist activity. Meaning, if you're a researcher who is trying to research and understand why people become funneled into that pipeline, and you are in those same forums, you can be thrown in prison, and your own defense attorney cannot see the evidence that is being used against you in some cases because it's deemed a risk to national security. But this guy just gets to retire and off he goes. Yeah, something Red Scare. Yep. The foreign spy, and it's gone. Yep, absolutely. Yep, a Labor-driven Red Scare is coming. Yep. I had a uni lecturer get held up at immigration from the US for that specific issue because of her research. Yeah. Yep. TikTok, the cop had to obliterate my account. And this is why we're getting off TikTok, unfortunately, because, yeah, you do not have the option. You do not have the option to just say what you want. Just, I was live for all of 30 seconds and I was on restricted mode on TikTok. It's so much fun. So much fun trying to argue with these. Should be hitting the criteria for Twitch affiliate any day. Really? I don't think so. I think I'm a long way off that. The day Alba was laughing at Labor caucus meeting and saying, ha ha ha, yeah, now.
Today I'm swearing in my new team, together with my deputy Josh. It's a next generation team. It's going to create an even stronger Australia.
So
Scott Morrison's Prime Minister, he's won the ballot. We're all wondering, okay, we've got an election within the next 8 months. Are we all going to get smashed, or are we going to come home and win it? And I got to tell you, when I got back to my electorate, there was a lot of unrest. The Australian people were just sick of Rudd to Gillard, Gillard to Rudd, Abbott to Turnbull, then Turnbull to Morrison.
Yeah, of course we were.
I think a decade of that
fucking
had
joke.
Really kind of worn thin with the Australian people, and we were sensing that.
We
suffered a lot of blows over that period of time.
I hate how he sits there all smugly like he's some kind of...
Another member, a member for Chisholm, who decided to go and sit with a crossbench, and we had our share of obstacles, but we remained ever purposeful and focused on our tasks.
I think we were all pretty pessimistic. It had been a very bruising few years for everybody. But one of the great attributes of Scott
Understatement of the
Morrison
year.
was he believed we could win. He
Yeah,
believed, and he made us
do
believe.
it.
And as he said at the time, there is a narrow pathway to victory. I'll lead and you follow. And
Oh, okay.
we had nothing to lose.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I do not mind providing some background on this. So basically, this is a bit of a deep dive into the tumultuous time in the Labor and the Liberal Party of Australia when we became a international laughingstock because we couldn't hold on to a prime minister for more than 10 minutes. So this is a bit of a behind the scenes look at that period of time. This is now the period of time before the election that Scott Morrison won by shock and surprise to all of the Australian public. And we all hated every minute of his reign as our Prime Minister. This is basically a bit of a look into how his colleagues felt about him. Yeah. Do you know what? I will say that the ADHD autism pattern recognition does put us ahead of the curve when it comes to recognizing, this kind of behavior, cyclical. It just, and I have people commenting on my TikTok all the time being like, wow, you're so well spoken, you're so articulate, you understand so much about this stuff, you should be involved in policy. I have been involved in policy. I have written policy. I've presented it to the government. I've sat in a room with Mark McGowan and tried to discuss housing reform in this country, in this state. No, I can't. I can't. This is why I'm burnt out and I can no longer work and my mental health goes crashing and burning every time I have to. It is so frustrating being in a room full of people who know that you know what you're talking about. And all they're thinking, basically what it is when you are presenting a policy to the government, you're basically giving them a heads up so they can work out how to spin in the media why they're going to do the exact opposite. Yeah, Linda, lying eyes. Yeah, Reynolds. Lying cow Reynolds, sorry, yeah. Preserve your labour and put it on platform people can actually engage. Absolutely. Run again for the Greens, though. Yeah. Yeah, totally are. I'm too left-wing for the Greens. I am far too left-wing for the Greens. My bestie is running the state campaign for the election for the Greens. And I feel really guilty that I haven't told her yet that I'm going to be running as an independent. You heard it here, not first, probably 8th, but yeah, I've decided I'm going to run as an independent at the state election. Not for any other reason than because I'm going to have that, I'll get attention in the media where I can yell about issues that are important to me. No other. Nah, you're so centrist. That is, why don't you just call me a Canut and get it over with? Why don't you just call me what's the... he's allegedly from the socialist faction. I love that Australia... Oh, that does ring a bell. I love that is in my mind. Hang on. I doubt you could spoil it. Would love to go one day. We would love to have you. We would love to have you. Just make sure you don't spend all your time in the cities because that's where all the dickheads hang out. Yeah. It is really concerning the room that gives for yes. No, you're not really in the city though. So, you're I feel like specifically I'm talking about the western suburbs when I talk about the city. I'm specifically talking about the Golden Triangle. That's what I think of as the city. I don't even think of North Perth as the city because they call it North Perth just so they can stick all of the immigrants and students, and they can stick a whole lot of social housing there and say that they provide inner city housing. But I'm like, do you really though? Because the city is way in the background when you get to North Perth. Hey, be so careful you don't dox me. No, absolutely not. Yeah, no, I'll be very, very, very careful. But the western suburbs in Perth is where I used to live. That's where I ran in the last state election. And it's so funny because we did so well in that election and everyone was so fucking shocked because of how right wing that particular part of the world is. Everyone was so shocked at how well we did. But the reason we did that well was because I just went out and spoke to I knocked on every fucking door in that neighborhood. Every single fucking door. It was exhausting. I couldn't do that now with a fucking broken foot. Shit. I better get this foot fixed if I want to run in the next election. There's a lot of walking around and door knocking involved. I'm going to stop talking about that now because I don't want to risk doxing anyone. Let's press play. We had nothing to lose.
The Prime Minister has called the election for May 18.
I'm just good old ScoMo, mate. Shark supporter.
Morrison's pedigree was as a campaign director, so he understood the power of messaging. He understood the discipline of messaging.
If you have a go, you get a go.
And he understood that.
I hate that. I hate that saying so much. If you have a go, you get a go. Really? Really? Because we have thousands of people who are out there having a go, having a crack every day. Like, I know in the place where I live, there are 130 unhoused families right now who are all getting up and going to work every day and having a go, and they're getting jack shit. Yeah, I also love pulling up on my own bootstraps. Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's so easy to break the laws of physics. Yep. I know. I find that if I pull on my own bootstraps, I start floating effortlessly. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. Oh, I know. My one mark on this world is I've clowned so hard on Twitter to change the party from within people that they DM me being like, I'm not renewing my membership. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm a bit gutted. Like, I don't know how I'm going to tell my bestie. I was going up to see her this weekend and tell her. But she's busy with campaign work because they've got their upper house candidates all selected. They've announced them and they've started their campaign. Which, yeah. If we pulled at our bootstraps hard enough, we would have been able to fly from the time of the dinosaurs. Honestly. She's campaigning for Golden Boy. Do you mean Clint Ewink? Is that who you're talking about with Golden Boy? Oh, no, state. Sorry, I'm talking about the state election. Yeah. She will also be running the Fed campaign, yes. We haven't done the selection for that though, so we don't know if Golden Boy's running again. Yeah, but we haven't done pre-selection yet. So they haven't done pre-selection, I should say. I'm no longer a member. Oh, I find whenever I pull on my bootstraps that hard, all I get is a broken laces. Yeah. Oify doify.
We believe your money is better off in your hands than the government's.
And that campaign was perfectly executed, but it was helped by Labor's poor campaign.
What's your name?
I'm Vicky Domino.
Hi, Vicky.
What was your name?
Bill.
Oh, Bill.
What was your name? God. Yes.
That's it.
Yes, definitely. Send it through.
The Liberal Party's probably doing better than it thought it was going to, and
Yeah.
particularly in Queensland.
We can't see an
Perfectly
alternative to a
executed.
Morrison government in the numbers we're seeing at the moment.
It is obvious that Labor will not be able to form the next government.
Scott Morrison's being praised by his party as a Liberal hero for pulling off a shock win for the coalition.
Oh, And that right there is all he needs to tell you for you to know that he should not be in charge of the fucking country. Yep, the bringing out the kids. I know. Like, that is one thing I'll tell you right fracking now. My kids are not getting up on any fucking podiums ever under any circumstances. Under any fucking circumstances. Are you joking? Are you joking? Like, I just... Oh. Oh. Yeah. The dragging the kids into the campaign was a fun part of the whole strategy. Yep. Yeah, cool fun. Cool fun. When I was doing pre-polling for the last state election, I was there every single day and my kids had to be there with me. But I set them up on a blanket. Like, there was a little park there right next to us. Set them up on a little blanket with snacks and the iPad, and they sat there mucking around while I was handing out how to vote cards. And they did interrupt me like every 5 minutes, but in no way, shape, or form were they partaking. No other child wanted to hug him. They had to get his kids involved because none of the others wanted to have anything to do with him. Oh, it was a whole thing of vote for my dad. Yeah. Yep. And like my kids wanted me to take photos of them next to my posters, and they wanted to have my poster up on their bedroom wall. They were really excited about the whole thing. And my daughter even did want to hand out how to vote cards. Like, she was going up to people going, here, like, you know. And I made her stand next to Bill Marmion when he showed up. And when they were like, you know, talking to him and going, and who's this? She'd go, that's my mom, and point to me in my Greens shirt. So she loved that. But Bill Marmion was so worried about me and my campaign that he put me 8 out of 8 on his ballot, which I kept a copy of their how to vote card, because to me, that was the highlight of the campaign for me, was the fact that Bill Marmion was actually worried about my campaign. He put us below the anti-vaxxers. Like, did love that. I did love that. Hey, Lewis, thank you. I broke my foot, actually, so it's a bit of a shit one, but we're surviving.
I said a few things that night, but to understand what that meant is to understand a bit of mine and Jenny's backstory.
Oh,
Abby
don't.
And for the 14 years we were unable to have children.
Oh, don't.
Have to stop.
No. Stop trying to humanize this man.
That win was and will always remain Morrison's win. Because from the disunity that we had in our party room before he became leader to the incredible way that he brought the team together, I've never seen that in all of my years in politics.
Well, welcome back, everyone.
I do think after that, too many people in the Morrison government decided that they'd won the election because they were geniuses.
Yeah.
As opposed to the fact that we'd won the election because Labor threw it away. And it's quite a different result.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
That lack of humility.
Yeah. Lack of humility, all right.
Infected too many
Thank
people
you.
in the Morrison government who believed that
Thank you so much.
they could do no wrong.
It is our job to govern humbly for this nation.
Oh.
We must burn for the Australian people every single day that we have this privilege.
Christopher Payne.
Certainly, he had a very high level of authority as the Prime Minister. And of course, that can be a very good thing.
Humbly,
it
yeah.
can also be a dangerous
Humbly?
thing. It all depends on whether you get the big judgments right or not.
Yeah, false humility. It's that false evangelical humility where they pretend they're humble while... Oh, we're going to talk about the bushfires?
Yeah, bonfires galore.
Yep, we're going to talk about how the country actually burned. We're going to burn for this country, except when it's on fire, we're going to fuck off to Hawaii.
Fire crews on both sides of the country have been battling major
Oh, he
blazes
makes me
that burn
so
dangerously
angry. This man
forested
makes me
properties.
so angry. The biggest mistake. I don't hold a hose, mate. Yeah.
I remember very clearly it was before Christmas. I was having lunch with Petro Giorgio and Ted Baillieu. Ted's sense of humour is quite weird. Petro's can be worse, and I never know whether they're trying to fix me up or something's really going on.
Trying to fix me up. What
Petro
we...
said, oh, Morrison's taking a holiday to Hawaii. I said, Petro, you're not going to get me.
Oh
Sorry,
my
you're not
God.
going to get me.
He
Ted
thought they were
says,
joking.
Yeah, well, he's hopped on a Jetstar. And I said, righto, you two, enough. Number one, half of Australia's on fire. He wouldn't be going to Hawaii.
Except
Two,
he
no
was.
Prime Minister of this country flies Jetstar.
Ah.
Doesn't happen. So cut the bullshit, boys. I've had enough. You've had your joke. Now let's get on with the show. And then Ted gets his phone, turns around, hands it over to me and says, look.
Yep. Yep. He was in fucking Hawaii and they didn't believe it. I've decided I need to be Ozpol Gossip Girl. Yes.
Every year,
I love
when we
that.
can, Jen and I and the girls would go down to the south coast of New South Wales and we'd rent a place.
Oh.
But Narendra Modi had invited Jenny and I to have a state visit to India.
Hi, Juzzy
So
Wuzzy
it meant I had
Fuzzy.
to break the news to the girls that meant we weren't going on holiday.
I'm sorry. We usually go somewhere down on the coast, but the coast was on fire, so we had to go to Hawaii instead. You're the Oh my God. I know the fact that it's Jetstar is that this has to be a joke. Nah. No. Oh my God. You're enjoying watching us screaming at our ex-prime ministers? Like, I can't believe he's not in fucking jail. Honestly, I'm just like, with all of the bullshit that this man has done to our country, like we haven't even got to the fully, we haven't got to the illegal stuff yet. We're just talking about, won't someone think of the children's missed holiday? Meanwhile, there are pictures in the paper of kids hiding under jetties with like wet towels over their faces because they're like with their parents trying to protect them from bushfires. And this man's going, well, they were going to miss out on their holiday in January because the country was on fucking fire. I promised them an island getaway and the island we picked was on fire. What else was I supposed to do? Oh, you got to tune in when we cover none of the taco. Oh, I cannot.
In January.
I cannot with this pity
So
party
we looked for an
moron.
opportunity to get a short break before Christmas.
Oh.
Everything was under control. Mike would be acting Prime Minister.
No.
I did say to him, you're not going to the South Coast. Do you think, we'd had a few fires, but he booked the holiday. He said, no, I owe it to Jen and the girls, and I get that.
I owe it to
But
Jen and the girls. What about the
being
Australian
acting
people?
Prime Minister, you've got people flanking you. They've got little walkie-talkies, and they've got big coats. It's full-on stuff as it needs to be. And so I asked the question of the Prime Minister's office. Well, what happens when the question occurs? You're obviously the acting Prime Minister. And the answer came back, well, do you have to do that? I said, well, yes, I do. I absolutely do.
Yes.
I think the thought was, well, maybe can you just, faff around that? But I'm not that sort of person. You ask a direct question.
He wanted him to faff around and not tell them he was acting Prime Minister. Oh my God. Oh my fucking
And you
God.
give the direct answer and you give a truthful answer.
The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, is getting hammered tonight for quietly going on a holiday.
Prime Minister's office is yet to confirm Mr. Morrison's current whereabouts.
Well, I mean, I thought
Yeah,
it was
then the country.
strange
Yep.
that it looked as if there had been
Yep.
lies told to the gallery about where he was. I thought that was odd.
Well, as Prime Minister, you don't blame your staff. some of those issues just were clunky in their handling. But
Okay, I'm sorry. This man is there's one thing he can do. He is the king of spin. I will give him that. As Prime Minister, you don't blame your staff. So he's straight away putting that idea in our head that this is on his staff. He's not going to blame them, but we should. So innocent, acting so innocent, Emery. Like, he's not going to blame his staff, but we absolutely should. That's what he's indicating there. Like, oh, bloody hell. Bloody hell. Anyone who's watching over on TikTok and who wants to join in the conversation, we are over on, where are we? We're over on Twitch mainly, but also YouTube having this conversation. And the link, if you have, go to the link in my profile, follow it over to Ko-fi. All the links are there. It's not as exciting as a labyrinth, but I'm working on it.
You know, people don't get everything right.
Making
so
it more complicated.
at the end of the day, I'm responsible for all that.
Oh, the way he's phrased that. I'm responsible for it, but you shouldn't blame me. You should blame my staff. Like, oh, he's so transparent. He's so transparent. How is anyone taken in by this dickhead? How is anybody taken in by this dickhead? Oh, my fucking God. Can you believe that everyone voted for him in that party room because they didn't think that Julia Bishop could get the prime ministership? Like, they didn't think Julia Bishop could win. They voted for him because they didn't think Julia Bishop could win. She could get the numbers. Like, just grow a fucking backbone. Hey, Jess, if you want to join the conversation on Twitch and YouTube, follow the link in my username. It'll take you to the Ko-fi.
He is, as he describes himself, a bulldozer. That's what he's like. And people like that, when they get into a leadership position, inevitably find themselves surrounded by people that tell them what they want to hear and are too scared to tell them
That's probably
what
true.
they really ought to be saying. I mean, if I'd said to Sally Cray, Lucy and I are going off to Hawaii for a holiday, she would have said, are you out of your mind?
As relentless bushfires and heat waves stretch throughout summer, photos have emerged of Australian tourists claiming to have bumped into Prime Minister Scott Morrison holidaying in Hawaii.
Yeah.
If you're Prime Minister, you're on holidays, and the country's burning, you get on a plane and come back. No ifs, buts or maybes.
I was gobsmacked. Just thought, no judgment, no
brains.
no this, he's gone. Finished.
While we were there, tragedy struck.
Oh,
and it was
you
devastating.
idiot.
2 volunteers were travelling in a convoy when their fire truck flipped, killing both men.
Yes, Juzzy Wuzzy Fuzzy, they are teasing me because Oh, the other links have expired. All right, I'll put a fresh link on there. Sorry about that. I'll put a fresh link on there. They're mocking me relentlessly because, unfortunately, I'm useless. And I've made it so hard for anyone to find my Discord. Where are we? Quick update. New Discord link. I have to remember to do this before we go live. There you go. It's on the Ko-fi. Yep, the fact that he wanted photos with volunteers and was ignored, deservedly so. Yep. What would I do without you guys, hey? Specifically, Emery. Probably never get through this. That's for sure.
Will stay on, but I know Australians, they'll be pleased I'm coming back, I'm sure, but they know that, I don't hold a hose, mate, and I don't sit in the control room.
Obviously doesn't hold a hose.
Yeah.
That's not the language you should probably use when,
Absolutely. Abbott was very clever. And this is the thing too. He was like, no, I'm not going to resign. I'm going to sit in the, I mean, obviously he's gone now, but I'm going to sit in the back bench and, I'm going to, the public who voted for you, you mean? Yeah, exactly. The vindication of my boomer relatives turning on this bloke after this. Yep. Never for the genuine want or good of the people. Yeah, absolutely. If he'd been chewing on an onion, he would have been halfway to it. Sausages. And the thing is as well, what I think a lot of people don't realise is he actually didn't come back early. He flapped around and talked about the fact that he'd changed his flights and he was coming back and blah, blah, blah. He didn't actually come back early. He didn't come back early.
Literally thousands of your countrymen and women are holding hoses.
The mate on the end of it kind of, has that tone of condescension.
Condescension, absolutely.
His first task was to demonstrate both national leadership but also empathy with those Australians that were suffering.
And he failed on both counts.
And I think that's where it fell down.
Do you
He didn't just fall down. He absolutely fucking collapsed.
Well, yes, in terms of how it was taken, and it was.
Oh.
I think everything that I was saying at the time was being weaponised. What I was
woe is
saying is that there
me.
are people on the ground doing that work.
Smugmo.
A prime minister, unless they're Tony Abbott and actually part of a brigade, isn't involved in that work. And the point was that those people are doing the job.
People took
and
it
so
the
it was a
wrong
poor
way.
choice of words, but equally it was manipulated and taken advantage of for
Oh,
political advantage.
you dickhead. He still doesn't recognise it. Narcissist. Narcissist. Still doesn't recognise. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little birthday guy. Copy me to me. I'm just a little guy. It's my birthday. Oh. Yep.
Understand
Bravo.
the gravity of what had happened, and so
Gaslighting the
Cabargo
entire
was at
country,
the
this man.
epicenter of it. He knew that he made a mistake in going to Hawaii.
Will I pay the poor volunteers doing it for 6 months straight? Also,
In the
no.
sense that
Yeah.
there was public
Yep.
anger, and
He couldn't
knew
even
that he
spell,
was going to get it because he
personal
was rattled
accountability.
before he got there.
Yep.
We pulled up at a fire station on the way through, and that obviously set the tone.
That obviously set the tone that everyone was fucking pissed off.
A firefighter on that day didn't want to shake my hand. I understand that. He'd been
Oh, so
through
you're just
hell.
going to stand there awkwardly.
Not everybody wants to do that. Plenty of others wanted to that day.
There was always
Gaslighting
in the
requires a
advances
personal
from my
relationship and
understanding, we're
repeat
told,
custody
don't
factors,
go
someone's
near
perception of reality.
the recovery.
Yeah, very true. He was using the same tactics on the country, but it's not gaslighting, just horrific denials and ability to take accountability. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. He was using the tactics of gaslighting, but yes, without that personal relationship, correct. I do feel like anyone who works for him has had to put up with a lot of gaslighting. That's for sure. Yeah, he asked a number of questions that didn't work in his own accountability. And that's such a bubble question, mate. I'm going to leave that here in the bubble. Real Australians don't care about this. Love you too. No worries. We'll see you next time. I'm probably, I got to say, my foot is throbbing right now. So I'm hoping to at least get half an hour through this today. We'll see how we go. Yeah, but that's such a bubble question. I'm going to leave that in the bubble. That's not something that real Australians care about. When there were questions that real Australians did care about, he just decided he didn't want to answer them. And he'd go, oh, that's such a bubble question. Like, get out in the real world and you'll see that. And real Australians were going, my foot is throbbing because I broke it last night. I stood on it crooked and I broke my foot. So, yeah. And I did say, I'm going to have to, I know, did you kick in frustrations this episode? No. My foot just went to sleep and I got up without realizing and stood on the side of it because my ankle goes a bit gimpy and I can't control it properly sometimes. And usually I just roll my ankle, which is fine. But because my foot was asleep, I just went down on it hard and crunch. Gotta go. Feed and water me. Hope you'll behave while I'm away. Hey, well, yeah, used to sleep foot. Yeah. Okay. Well, while Emery's not here, quick. Well, they're gone. We can. I don't know what we're going to do, but quick, let's think of something to do. Oh,
there's some
gosh,
pretty
golly
raw
gosh.
feelings out there.
Golly gosh.
How come we only had 4 trucks to defend our town?
Yeah.
Nah, you're an idiot, mate.
Yeah.
When we got there,
Look at the color of the
it started
fucking
to go
sky.
south real quick.
Oh, quick, everyone
The young
docks themselves
lady
by
who
way of our favourite
Scott
guilty
grabbed her
pleasure.
hand. She just wanted to help her fellow Cabargo residents.
How are you?
I'm only shaking your hand if you give more funding to our RSS. So many people here have lost their homes.
We are. It's just all coming. It's all coming.
No.
We need more help.
Again, this was
No,
misrepresented.
it wasn't.
She said to me, I'll shake your hand if you're prepared to help. And I said, I'm prepared to help.
It's a war zone, and he
No.
walked away as I asked for help, and that kind of broke my heart.
Local Porto veg.
That vision of
veggie
him
meals.
grabbing hands, I think he was pushing to try and
Don't
get
put
that
the
connection
suburb.
too hard.
Don't put the
But I
suburb.
wasn't close enough to Scott to give advice.
Yeah.
We've never had a relationship like that and never will.
How is that misrepresented? How can anyone misrepresent how angry?
An ugly incident.
How can
And
anyone
he was whisked away. and
misrepresent how?
Went in another car, and I just remember getting back to the airport in Merimbula, and he could sense what had just happened. And he was shattered. And Jenny was there with him, and that was probably a good thing that Jenny was there with him to console him, because he understood the gravity of.
No, he didn't, because he's still to this day saying it was misrepresented. Yeah, why he was never able to talk to Morrison, because Morrison knew he couldn't see it to him. And he's still to this day saying that he was misrepresented, that situation was misrepresented, that it was blown out of context, that people used it for political gain. I'm sorry. No. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Yeah. He's still denying it. You want to sit there and say that he understood? He's still to this day denying it was even went down the way that
What had just
we
happened
saw
and
it
what
go
had played
down.
out on effectively national TV, nearly live.
What I'd experienced
Yeah, I
in
get you.
those places
I
was
get you,
devastating.
Juzzy.
Not about me.
Oh.
It was about what I saw. It's about the people I spoke to. And it impacts you.
Oh, you bullshitter.
You know, after
You
copying it for being away
absolute
and away,
bullshitter.
and now this, that was the
He is
seminal moment
so full
that
of
brought it all
shit.
together for the Australian
He
people.
is so full of shit. Today I learned Oporto's does veggie food. Most, I think all fast food restaurants have a veggie option. Yep.
We have
Yeah,
been in
he sleeps an
constant
easy 10 hours.
emergency management
Absolutely, he
mode,
does.
and had been since September with the fires.
I used to get the Hungry Jack's veggie burger. And then I realized that the place that I was getting it from was overcooking it, apparently, because I went and got one from another place and was like, this patty's really undercooked. And they were like, no, like, no, it's fine. I was like, oh, okay. Porto says a vegan and a veg option. Ooh. When I'm up in the city, I am going to have to try it then. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Now you're making me hungry. My guilty pleasure is Jarrah's salted caramel coffee. I only ever get it when it's half price at Woolies. And when it is half price at Woolies, I have to buy like 3 tins at once because otherwise I can never afford it. I am well to fair out of town and refuse to eat at the big change. Yeah. Me too. I don't have any of the big. Well, I do have a couple of big chains around me, close enough that I could get to, but my extra guilty pleasure is drive-through. Yeah. Hey, we're happy for distractions around here. We live on distractions. Is Oporto's a big chain? They are over east, I believe. I believe over the eastern states they are. I'm not sure. I don't have one where I live.
My health advisor came in and said the chief medical officer needs to see you. You always take that meeting, and told me about a virus.
Oh,
that we
don't.
didn't know
No.
really much about.
No. We're not going to talk about the sports rots. We're not going to talk about sports rorts. We're going to skip straight to COVID. He announced COVID was a pandemic before the World Health Organization because of the sports rort scandal. He was trying to distract from the sports rort scandal, and so he announced COVID was a health pandemic. He announced it before the World Health Organization had declared it a pandemic to cover his own fucking thing. They're solely an Australian thing. I knew they were solely an Australian thing. They started in Sydney. They started on Bondi Beach, which is why they've got the Bondi Burger. So I did know that they were an Australian thing. I just didn't realise that they weren't everywhere in Australia. I mean, like I said, I live in a smaller town, so we don't have them. But yeah. Yeah, he really just skipped to that. Yep. So he jumped to that at least too. Yep. Didn't want to discuss his other scandals. Just glad to have stumbled onto such an honest discussion. Thanks for the company. I'll leave a follow. Oh, thank you so much. Yep, no worries. Go grab some sleep. Yeah, it's 11 and probably late at night. Excellent. Well, we do this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We do this. So absolutely happy to see you again. Absolutely. And next week I'll have the chat up on screen so everyone can see it. We all must be masochists for reliving this stuff. This is why we're doing it together. This is why we're doing it together. We'll get through this together, chat. We can do this together. His memory is good. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing, this muppet. Oh. Yeah, gotta talk the talk, sell that bullshit messaging, of course. It'd be 4 full days. It has taken 2 weeks to get this far so far. Yeah, so we can try and stop future versions of this. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Reliving it helps make sure we don't repeat it. Though, I gotta say, the writing is on the wall. I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes for what the Labor Party are becoming. Gotta be honest. What did we pause on here? We paused on ScoMo skipping straight to COVID rather than talking about sports rorts. He skipped sports rorts, didn't even mention it. I hope somebody else does. I'm back. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Back again. Someone else better mention it.
In Wuhan, it just changed absolutely everything.
God. Full
the
of shit.
Coronavirus is top of the agenda for today's COAC meeting of state and territory leaders in Sydney.
Right. So we're not going to talk about sports rorts.
Under our federation, all the health powers sit at a state level. So it was very clear to me from very early on that this was going to involve an enormous amount of.
I do hope they talk about the fact that he gave himself 5 ministerial portfolios during this time. All the bushfire funds rort. Yep, skip that. Yeah, you know what changed everything? Not closing the international borders, which is federal jurisdiction.
Working together with the states and territories.
So, he did lock my kids in New Zealand and I had to fight tooth and nail to get them back. So,
all state and territory leaders.
My kids were trapped in New Zealand. They were on a plane. In New Zealand, coming back from. They were on the plane. They were on the plane, and I got a call from their dad letting me know we were separated at this time. So I got a call from their dad letting me know that because he was a New Zealand passport holder and not an Australian passport holder, he was being pulled off the plane, and so were the kids. And I then spent the next 2 hours calling fucking everybody. I managed to get through to a number and she was like, how the fuck did you get this number? Like, this is not a publicly available number. And I said, no, but I refuse to get off this phone until someone gets my kids on a plane. Like, get my kids back home to me fucking now. What are you doing? And it was so frustrating too, because I had been saying to him for ages, you need to change your dates. You need to get home. You need to get those kids home. They're going to close the borders. You need to get home. And he kept going, no, it's fine. And then finally, eventually, he, got on the plane and yeah, they pulled him off. They pulled him off the plane because he was a New Zealand passport holder and they said, you're not allowed to fly into Australia. They can, but in order to fly as an unaccompanied minor, as someone who has worked in the travel industry for a very, very long time, that's what I did before all of this malarkey. You has to be pre-booked. It has to be pre-arranged because they have to have an air hostess on the plane who is assigned to your children. So they have to hire an extra staff member to be on the plane assigned to your children, and you have to pay an extra fee and that for that, and it all has to be arranged in advance. So yeah, so the easiest and quickest way to get them home was just to fucking yell at the Department of Foreign Affairs until they got my kids back on the fucking plane with their dad. Pull off. Yeah, they dragged him off. They dragged him off, pulled him off the plane. Yes, which was, and I was getting ready for work at the time when I found out about this, and I had to get out of the car. Like, I had to. I remember that feeling right now. Like, I just remember that feeling of being like, because I was so helpless because he was my ex, and he wasn't listening to me, and there's nothing I could do, and I was trying to get his parents to get them back. And you know what his mother said to me? His mother, when I was on the phone bawling my eyes out, being like, I need to get my kids back, his mother said, well, what does it matter? What does it matter if they just stay here? What does it matter if they just have to stay here longer? What's the big deal? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm their mother. I want my children home with me. I have primary custody of those children. They are like, what are you talking about? What does it matter? I don't want them around you for any longer than absolutely necessary. Send my children home to me now. Yes. Yeah, I am going to be so mad at them framing the now times as post-COVID. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the big deal is that their children who have a community in Australia. Yeah, exactly. My children deserve to be in their home where they're safe with their people, with their things in their home where they're safe. Just because you're happy to withhold them from me. She's tried to get my children taken off of me before, though, my ex-mother-in-law. She's a fucking nut. She really is. That's probably why I'm restricted, because I can't stop swearing. Whoops. But yeah, anyway. Canut. YouTube rejected my comment. Yeah, that's the one. YouTube rejected my comment. All right, yeah, TikTok. Tanakh. Yep. Oh, today all the state and territory leaders are coming together. All right, let's just. This is why we're on Twitch, people. Yeah.
Coming together.
Oh.
I don't think there was
She's
anywhere
nothing
near
fucks.
the urgency
Yep.
within the federal government that there needed to be. They didn't
I'll put it up
quite
on the
get
screen so
that
everyone on
this was going
YouTube
to
can
be
see it too
a
and enjoy
crisis
it
like
too.
no other. But they got with the program pretty quick.
Obviously, our key focus today is working together.
So this is why we're
as
talking to
always, to address
premiers.
the health needs of the nation.
Just after lunch, I get a little note which says the chief medical officers are calling, including Brenda Murphy, to take far more extreme measures in terms of shutdowns. Now, this was completely at odds with what we'd been told only hours before.
Yeah.
I cleared the room of everybody other than the leaders and myself.
He said, this new report says this thing is far more serious than we ever contemplated.
Still
I propose we
is.
form a national cabinet.
What we've resolved to do is to
Yeah,
form
it's easy to
a
work together when half the
national
ministry is you.
cabinet
Absolutely.
to deal with the national response to the coronavirus.
To have a national cabinet where we could all work together, it actually
Yes.
seemed a very logical thing, and
Absolutely.
everybody jumped on board and welcomed it.
We will be advising against organised, non-essential gatherings of persons of 500 people or greater from Monday.
Particularly because acting like this is only state shit is fucked up. Yes, particularly because when I think YouTube's kicked me off actually for all of the swearing. That's fine. But particularly because when it comes to quarantine specifically is a federal issue. Quarantine is a federal issue. Our biggest quarantine center, like anyway. Oh. Non-essential, non-privileged people too. Yep. I forgot how frustrating this was the first time around.
Well, I do still plan to go to the football on Saturday.
What an idiot.
Anyway, I copped a bit of flack for that. And
Absolutely you
I think the end
did.
of that night, I'd said I wasn't going. Whatever.
From the very beginning,
Yeah.
we made it
For a
incredibly
hot minute we
clear,
had working
crystal
class
clear,
solidarity.
that all
Yep.
of us together would follow health advice. if we're all in this together, then that'll make it
I
easier.
wish I could
No
forget.
one's
Yep.
taking pot shots. No one's seeking political advantage.
Oh,
And then, of course, it unfolded a little bit
of course it
differently to that.
unfolded a bit differently to that. Scott Morrison, Scummo was in charge. Scumbag was in charge. Yeah, copped a bit of flack. Maybe I was a bit of an idiot. Oh my God. The same day as he called for the cabinet, he
Pam
gets
said,
sworn
"Look,
in as the
as a
Minister for
contingency,
Health.
I'm likely to get myself sworn in case anything happens to you, because the presumption was that anybody at any time could get this disease and be incapacitated."
On health, that was dealt with Greg. It was even discussed at NSC. So, and the reason for that was we had the Biosecurity Act operating, which had enormous powers,
Yeah.
unprecedented, in the hands of one individual.
For 5
So
minutes
these
we
were
were.
frightening
For
powers.
5 minutes we were all in
and
it together.
I wanted safeguards around me.
Yeah, not whatever. You... Oh, this frustrating a-hole, honestly. Yeah, virus.
We were staring into an economic abyss. Treasury in Australia had come to me and said, "Treasurer, the unemployment rate in Australia could reach as high as 15%. That would see more than 2 million Australians unemployed."
I mean,
The Minister
social
for
unrest
Ministers, yeah.
was in the back of all of our minds in a crisis. No one knew where this was going to play out. And Josh and I, in particular, and Matthias, knew that we had to get these economic interventions right.
And so we decided to
On the
give millions of
weekend
dollars to
before
Harvey
we
Norman.
announced JobKeeper, I was walking around Parliament House and I rang John Howard. And I said, "John, we're about to announce an economy-wide wage subsidy with an eye-watering cost."
And it's all going to the businesses and not the people. Ugh. So fucking
I'd
frustrated.
never thought that as a Liberal Treasurer, I'd be announcing such a policy.
Josh said, "Look, we've got to inject this enormous amount of money. He said, it'll send us way into debt." And I said, "You don't have any alternative."
He said, "Josh, at
Yeah.
times of national crises, there are no
Yeah,
ideological
biggest slime of modern
constraints."
politics.
And for
When
me, that was a critical
when they
judgment
put Julian
Australia.
Burnside up in Frydenberg's Electric in Kooyong, I was so excited at the idea that he might get ousted. Like, oh, I would have loved that. I would have loved that. Yeah, God fucking forbid they implement some good social welfare policies. Yep. Make the businesses accountable. Oh, wait. Yep. No, exactly. It's not they've helped it. They've just, oh, they just,
As second longest serving Prime Minister, that we were
it definitely feels like this is just, and I'm a bit frustrated at the ABC for allowing this to happen. It really feels very spin doctory.
on
It
the
feels
right
very spin doctory. Yeah, that's communism. Can't have that. No. Yep. The same day as Senator Cormann was not told. The same day as JobKeeper is unveiled.
What we'd put in place on finance delegations enabled billions of expenditure in the hands of one individual. So I didn't think it was appropriate for one person to hold those powers in those circumstances. There was an omission in with Matthias, but that was a genuine omission and one that I was unaware of.
We have already boosted the job seeker payment for those who have lost their jobs. Today, we are introducing a $1,500 per fortnight JobKeeper payment to keep Australians in their jobs, even when the work may dry up.
And
We're spending a lot more.
but what about the people whose entire industry disappeared? Because I know a lot of people who like during COVID, companies went under, like travel companies went under. Like these companies just kept all this fucking money. Harvey Norman, perfect example. Yeah. That's true. That is absolutely true. That's, yep. Yeah. And we're sacrificing people. Absolutely. Private gyms never recovered. Suck with the big two now. Yep. Plenty of industries never flipping recovered. And this wasn't going to...
more money than most
It's
Liberals
just-
were comfortable with. We were restricting people's rights much more than most of us were comfortable with, and that did cause real tensions in the government.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Restricting people's rights. Are you kidding me? This is not... Since the days of Typhoid Mary, we have understood that people's rights are contingent upon certain external factors, and balancing public versus personal rights has always been a big issue. And it's one of the only reasons we fucking need government. The fact that they allowed individual rights to supersede the rights of the populace, of the public, to have a healthy community. Oh my God. Yeah, are the rights in the room with us now? Exactly.
The money that
Maybe
was
I
being
can't do
shoveled out
this.
the
Like
door
maybe I
was
can't
just
do this. It's making me so
eye-watering.
angry. I actually feel like
You
I'm going to
had
throw up.
Casual workers paid more than they were in ordinary life.
And
why on earth did we pay the unemployed even more?
We came up with policies quickly that really had a significant effect in stemming the losses. JobKeeper saved more than 700,000 jobs.
That first 3 months, it was a period where people saw the best of politics. They saw cooperation. They saw leadership.
Yeah, but meanwhile,
So he recovered
Scott
those losses
Morrison's
that
going.
occurred after the bushfires and his away excursion.
His net satisfaction just went through the roof. And I thought that will be a problem too, because that will lead him to believe that he's unassailable.
Unassailable. Yeah. Yep. Kids keep engaged. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
While we were dealing with COVID,
Absolutely.
there was always the question of its origins. Now, we all know where it started. It started in Wuhan. How it started, who knows? I believe that the World Health Organization should have the authority to go and find out what happened, because none of us wanted to see this happen again. Maurice was the first to articulate it.
The issues
Now
around
it's gone people are
the
jobless.
coronavirus are issues for independent review, and I think it is important that we do that. In fact, Australia will absolutely insist on that.
To be able to say around the World Health Assembly table that it was appropriate to have an inquiry into the origins.
Yeah, give the overpayments to businesses back and give them to people who actually need them. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if I can do this for much longer today, honestly. I am feeling so frustrated. I'm feeling like I'm actually feeling so I mean, I don't want to say triggered because that doesn't feel like the right, but I'm having like I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment. That's what I'm just going to say. I'm disassociating a little bit, I think. Yeah, I mean, we're ahead of schedule. Let's just chat. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. COVID is still happening. COVID is still happening. And like, I don't leave my house except to go shopping, grocery shopping, and pick the kids up from school. And picking them up from school, I don't even leave my car. My kids, I send them to school with face masks. My kid has a health condition. Like this, I spent most of the time that this was all going on, I was in hospital with my kid. I was in a solitary room, in solitary confinement. I didn't see anybody's face for months. Like, it was the nurses and that was so lovely there because they were like, no, this is your home. You treat this like your home. You don't have to mask up. When we come in, we'll mask up. Like, you can sit here and be comfortable and you don't have to worry about any of that. Like, you know, they were great. They were doing their best to try and make us as comfortable as possible. But being in a hospital during this time was fucking terrifying. Yes, Emory brunches get to happen because Emory is also intensely COVID aware and taking COVID precautions. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And brunch is an outdoor activity. Brunch is an outdoor activity. But yeah, like, I'm going up to visit my friend. We won't be leaving her apartment. I'm going up to visit my mum. Like, I won't be leaving her house when I'm up there. I'm going up to visit Emery. We're going out to but it's, and I also will be COVID testing before I leave today. I've got to get a PCR test done though, because the rat tests don't test for jack shit anymore, in case anyone wasn't aware. But yeah, I was in hospital during this time with my kid, and he was incredibly ill. And I am an asthmatic, and we had a sign up on our gate to tell people that we basically, given that we had people with severe health needs living in the house, that we were not home during that time. Basically, like, don't come knocking, we're not going to answer. I was making masks for the community, and I was dropping them off to like local like people on Facebook when they were asking for them. I was dropping them off to them, dropping off to local businesses so that they had options for their staff, because there were no bloody face masks. And it just, yeah, if you get a negative rat test, it doesn't mean much. Positive means you have it, but there's such a high rate of false negatives, it's not reliable to rely on a negative. No, exactly. Exactly. But I just I can't express enough really how, and I know Emery, I know you understand this, but I can't really express just how hearing your humanity being debated as well in the public sphere. If you're deserving of humanity, like if you're deserving of consideration, if it's worth thinking about you and how this is going to impact you. Yeah. It's like, my kid had to go and have a surgery recently, and no one was masked up. We were, but no one else was. And I just kept thinking to myself, this kid's like at serious risk, and no one's taking that seriously. And he's, I mean, I try not to talk too much about my kid, but this is a kid. This is a kid that is not going to take their health that seriously. They get irritated that I make them take their medicine 3 times a day. Yeah, it's a push for hyper individualism. Yeah, people struggle to think of others' experiences. They only think they're better or stronger or fitter and wouldn't pass on the illness to others. Yeah. No worries. No worries at all, chat. Thank you for the comments. Do you think there are people out there who aren't deserving of life? No. And this is the thing that gets me. Anti-vaxxers, how more dangerous than COVID? Like, yeah. If you don't want to catch COVID, that's your problem. Nothing to do with me, and not caring that viruses only spread when the community let it spread. Absolutely. Absolutely. If we get sick, we did it to ourselves. It's our fault. Yep. Absolutely. It's eugenics. Absolutely. It's eugenics. Okay. Jared, I have spoken about this before. I've spoken about this many, many times before, that you did not need to get a vaccine. There are people in my life who did not get the vaccine. They quarantined. They regularly tested and they quarantined. And that was because they had other health conditions that made them concerned about what the vaccines would do, particularly heart conditions, that made them concerned about what the vaccine may do, particularly when it first came out. And they quarantined, they isolated, and they regularly COVID tested. They took other precautions. There was no forcing of people to get vaccines. You just had to take other precautions. And if you are going to sit there and say, but what about all the nurses and stuff? They took a job where they have to have vaccinations as part of the mandate. That is, they have to. End of discussion. Like, there's no if, buts, and maybes about it. They entered that industry where that was a requirement. Like, that they knew that going in. They didn't know that this vaccine was going to be required, but they knew they were going to have to be vaccinated. That's just par for the course in that industry. So I'm not interested. Yeah. COVID is a circulatory disease. Yeah. Yeah, if a nurse doesn't believe in vaccines, it's probably not the job for you. Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. Jared, people did have the right to choose what they had in their body. I kept getting, okay, so during this time, I kept getting people sending me legislation that said that the government was allowed to force vaccinations. And all of the legislation was specifically around people who were coming on ships for short stays. We have to allow them to dock because they can't, necessarily stay in isolation. But in order to be allowed to come on shore, they had to have the vaccination. And they were forcing their way on shore, and the government was literally saying, no jab, no entry, end of discussion. They were the only people who were being forced vaccinations. They had the option to remain on their ships. They did not have to come on shore to Australia. That legislation around forced vaccinations for people coming on ships for short stays over here has existed for a very, very long time. It was specifically written in to cover yellow fever virus. So that is not new. It didn't come about because of COVID. There was not some sort of secret mandate to poison us all. Like, that legislation has existed for a very long time. It was written in regards to a different virus at a different time. Jobs have inherent requirements. Immigration has always had inherent requirements for getting certain vaccines depending on the risk of where they depart from. Exactly. These requirements existed before COVID. There was not some secret cabal conspiracy to poison us all. And if you believe that there is, you need to go elsewhere. This is not the place for you. This is not a safe place for you. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I can't get a job as a forklift driver. I don't have the skills required. Yeah, I don't have the capacity required. Yes. And I have, in the mining industry, I have had to deny people work because of their weight, because they didn't meet certain weight requirements for the seats in the trucks that they would be operating. And people try to claim it's fat phobia. I'm like, no, the seats are only made to be able to hold people of a certain size. And if the seat in the truck breaks, these aren't exactly little trucks. Like, they're not trucks you see going down the road. These trucks are the size of 3 semi-trailers side by side on the road together. You can't have someone suddenly lose control of that vehicle. You can't be sitting there and have the seat break and be like, whoa. So no, unfortunately, you can't have this job because of this requirement that we have. You have to be under a certain weight. And the weight was 140 kilos. But there are people who are over that weight who are truck drivers. And it's like, I'm sorry, but you don't meet the requirement. Like, try and sue all you want, but there's an occupational health and safety risk that supersedes your individual right to hold any particular job, or because it's not just you that's affected. It's also the whole fucking community. My brother got the vax and he now has heart issues from it. He's 17, so how does that work? I would bet that the heart issues have come from COVID. I would bet that the heart issues have come from COVID and not from the vaccine. Because unfortunately, long COVID is something that we're only just beginning to understand. My asthma was perfectly fine. I was not having any issues with asthma before COVID. I got COVID as a result of I wore a mask the whole bloody time, but I had to fly interstate for a surgery that I had to have, and I got COVID on the plane. I did a negative PCR test before traveling and all that jazz, wore a mask the whole time, still managed to get it. It sucks. COVID is a circulatory virus. It messes with the blood vessels, the circulation, causes clotting issues, causes autoimmune issues, causes brain damage, causes all kinds of different issues. Absolutely. It was after he got the vaccine and now he's having all these health issues. Okay. This same thing happens with people who say that autism, vaccines cause autism. I'm autistic. My mother was an anti-vaxxer. There is absolutely no way that I got autism as a result of vaccines, okay? Not possible. My mother still wants to think that my son's autism was likely caused by the vaccines that I got for him. Correlation does not equal causation. If you get a vaccine and then a couple of days later you're exhibiting symptoms, or Unfortunately, getting the vaccine doesn't protect you from the virus, which is why we need herd immunity. It's why we need everyone to get the vaccine and not just the few people who need it. You can still get COVID after having the vaccine. I had the vaccine. I had 3 doses of it when I got COVID. Unfortunately, most people who got COVID got it as a breakthrough infection after the let it rip attitude started. Absolutely. Most people who have caught COVID in Australia have got it after being vaccinated, because most people got vaccinated early if they were going to get one at all. The majority of infections happened post 2021. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely, Emery. It's absolutely. No, Jared, as I just explained, vaccines, the way that vaccines work, and this is one of those anti-vax rhetorics, and I apologize, guys, that you're hearing me argue with someone on TikTok right now. No, absolutely is not. I have a healthy distrust for government. Trust me. Like, we're over here planning the government's downfall. Like, don't doubt for a second. If you want to plan the government's downfall, feel free to like and subscribe, follow, do all the things we're supposed to ask you to do. There you go. Put that up on the screen so I don't forget what I'm talking about. But vaccines depend on herd immunity. They depend on everyone getting it. They depend on us all being protected so that the virus isn't able to replicate, and it isn't able to transform, and it isn't able to grow and change beyond its initial presentation. We didn't do that. And that is why we now have 8 different strands of COVID, and none of the rat tests work to test it, and everyone's getting it regardless of how many times they've been vaccinated. But being vaccinated does help to limit the negative effects and negative consequences that COVID has on your body. So it is still worth you as an individual getting vaccinated, even though it's not necessarily going to mean that you don't get the virus. It is still going to minimize the secondary effects of COVID. I use sunscreen and still got heat stroke on Monday. Therefore, sunscreen is useless. Exactly. Very good point. Very, very good point. Very good point. You know? Yeah, Jared doesn't want to learn. He's only arguing. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the government's attitude is just to kill off the weak, burdensome, disabled, and elderly people. Let them catch COVID, they'll die, and everyone else can keep going. That's the depopulation happening. Unfortunately, what they're doing is creating a whole lot more disabled people who aren't even aware of how serious their disabilities are going to be and how much support they're going to need. Yep. Kill off the workers, the ones they were asking to get vaccinated initially? Absolutely not. Got to keep them working and in jobs. Yep. Which is also why only those who were considered necessary essential workers were being offered the vaccine at first. You know? I had COVID once with 1 vaccine and once with 3 vaccines. Yep. Yeah, fancy a guess at which I'd prefer to do again? After having the 3 vaccines, I'd say. After having the 3 vaccines, your body probably handled that a lot better. After having 2 or 3 vaccines that I had when I got it, it was not fun. It absolutely was not fun. I was laying in bed, and my manager still expected me to log on and work, and I was just laying in my bed with my laptop, looking at the laptop going, yep, I can see the chat. Like, I'm logged on. I can see the chat. The vaccine, no, it doesn't. Oh my goodness. Nope. Yep. We're muting Jared. We're going to mute Jared over here. Because you're not listening. You're not listening. So the burden of the poor, yeah. Yeah. Point out how cult thinking stuff works. Arguing just pushes them further in. You just want to mute at this point. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And I will also let everybody know who is watching, who is thinking about possibly, maybe getting a booster after we've had this conversation. The new vaccines, they're not actually calling them boosters anymore because they have modified them to help protect from new strains of COVID. So even if you're vaccinated, even if you've been vaccinated before in the past and you haven't thought about getting a booster before or you haven't worried about it, the new boosters are actually a new form of the vaccine that has been modified to help protect against new strains of COVID. So if you are thinking of getting a top-up, please do. Let this be a note to you to get a top-up. Absolutely. Okay, you want the XBB monovalent. That's the best new ones that are stronger against the current dominant strain. Okay, well, I'm going to make a note of that. And I'm going to let my doctor know which one I want next time. I was just going down to the pharmacy and getting it. So I was just getting whatever they had there. But yeah, I will specifically ask for that one. XBB monovalent. XBB monovalent. Yep. We all need a reminder from time to time. Absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, because of the fear of government, because of what the government's done to us, because of people like Scott Morrison, because of the bullshit that he pulled during this time, and people like him for 200 years in this country, it has made us very distrustful of any authority. And unfortunately, that does lead people into these, really dangerous ways of thinking. Okay, doctors don't all order them all in, FYI. Oh, okay. Rightio. So I have to go and ask my doctor to order that one in first. XBB monovalent. I will do that. I'll actually do what I might call them today and see if they can order it in for me then. Yeah, absolutely. No shame to people who've been let down by what the government's doing in restricting access to useful information. It's okay you weren't able to find out what's been going on, and then start back getting on top of boosting, updating your masking regimen. Absolutely. No shame to anyone who has let this lapse, has forgotten that we're still living through a pandemic. No shame to anyone who's maybe forgotten that vaccines are out there and being updated. It is hard to, and also this is another thing to remember about this virus. It has been shown to, in some ways, dismantle our critical thinking skills. It's one of the ways the virus is able to proliferate is by reducing our sense of danger towards it. What's the phrase I'm looking for? What it does? It basically, once you've got the vaccine, it's much harder for you to recognize logically and remember that virus is a danger to you. It has that effect on our brain. Like it has that effect of damaging our hippocampus and our prefrontal cortex. Yes, it actually diminishes our self-preservation instinct. Yes, it impacts longer term on cognition and memory. Absolutely. You drop your guard, and the virus does that by design, which is why it's so important as well that as a community we have to keep reminding each other and helping each other remember, because the virus is actively trying to dismantle that. It's actively trying to stop us from doing that. Yeah, I had COVID recently and I struggled to think clearly. I had night terror, sense of, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we've become a little bit desensitized to it as well, because most of us have got COVID and gone, oh, well, I survived, I'm still here. But the more you get it, like, if you get it again, it's going to have a worse impact on your body. Like, it will ravage your system. And if anyone follows Turn, TERN, is it just a Turn, or on Threads or Twitter, wherever you do your tweeting, they always post a lot of really good updates about COVID, about the facts behind COVID. They, they've done a very good job of hiding their identity and who they are, but they have access to some really good information. Yeah, unpaid time off work. And that is fucking unfair. That is absolutely fucking unfair. We need to allow people to have time off to recover from viruses and things. I will say to you though, I don't know how to pronounce your username, Samaranga. I will say to you though, Samaranga, I hope I pronounced that correctly, that the worse you're affected by the vaccine, the better protected you are from the virus. I had no reaction whatsoever to the vaccine, and I caught the virus. My ex, terrible reaction to the vaccine. He was in bed for 2 days after having the vaccine, has never caught COVID. Never caught it. Just as an update thing, COVID isn't spread by droplets. It's airborne. That means masking is best practice. It's different than what we were doing. Social distancing is less important than good airflow. Any masking is better than no masking. Masking with something like N95 is better than using surgical cloth masks. Yes. And we should have HEPA filters. We should have filtration in all. If you're in a meeting room, if you're in an office area, demand proper airflow and proper air filtration. Demand proper airflow and proper air filtration, because unfortunately, all the talk of the economy, all it does is make people think it's more important that they're at work than that they stay at home to protect themselves. That's all it's bloody done. Yeah, absolutely. The best mask you can wear is the one you're wanting to wear. And as a leftist, it's a very good protection from the surveillance state. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, when I got COVID, I had vertigo for 2 days before I got tested positive for COVID. I was feeling a bit poorly, and so I called in sick to work. Oh, want to block TikTok? Oh my goodness. Yep. Let's how do I Where are we? Oh shit. Can you still see his comment? I deleted his comment and now I can't see him. Ah, yes. Thank you, Emery. Thank you. Yes, because unfortunately, if you're coming onto my page and accusing me of censorship when I block you, you don't understand what censorship is. You are free to start your own TikTok page and say whatever you want on it. And then when the Chinese government blocks you, you can accuse them of censorship. But me deleting you from my live stream is not censorship. That's not what's happening here. So sorry. So sorry to confuse. Thanks. Again, Em, what would we do without you? Probably like flail around and Oh, all right. I'm going to try and watch the next 4 minutes of this. I feel like now that we've had a really good chat about all the things that we need to do, having a right to a voice isn't a right to people listening. Absolutely. And it's not a right to come into my space and yell at me either. You've got a right to make your own space and say what you want over there. You don't have a right to come in my space and say what you want, though. Like our space. This is our space. Mainly Emery's space, because Emery's the one who's managing it, who's keeping it all under control. But no, this is our space. And absolutely, no one has the right to come in here and you know, like if you're not going to be a team player, you can fuck off. Fuck off. But yeah, let's watch the next 4 minutes and see if we can get to the half an hour mark. Oh, poor Jared. Jared's gone. Jared's not allowed to hang around with us anymore. Hey, Marlena, how are you? I haven't seen you on the app for a while. Though in saying that, I haven't been on the app for a while because it's yes, a lot of the newer variants are showing less respiratory systems because again, it's a circulatory disorder that activates an immune response. And in the past, that response was stronger in the respiratory system, but now it's showing up less with coughs and things and more about fatigue and ache and general malaise. Yes. He had his little feelings hurt. He did. Yeah. So please be aware of that. If you've got a persistent headache, that's like, you know, you haven't really been able to get rid of by drinking water and resting, test for COVID. If you're feeling like achy and joints are sore and you're just like, oh, I feel like I'm coming down with something, test for COVID. And not a rat test, a PCR test. Go down and get a PCR test. Protect yourself. You know, absolutely. Hey. All right. I'm going to try and watch the next 4 minutes because I want to get to the half an hour mark. I want to be able to say we got a third of the way through it and then we can watch the next third on Monday. You need a script for a PCR? Seriously? So where I am, you don't? Oh, okay. It might be because I'm on Closing the Gap. It might not be because of where I am. It might be because I'm on Closing the Gap that I don't need a script for a PCR test. That is one good thing about Closing the Gap is they do try and remove the barriers to accessing medical care for mob, which is really good, especially being in a no worries. Thanks, Amaranga. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, but that is something that is good about being in a regional community, making sure that we're removing those barriers to accessing healthcare for mob is extremely important. So that is one good thing I will say about the Closing the Gap initiative. But yeah, I didn't realise that you had to get a script to get a PCR test. That is just bananas. That is just bananas. We're trying to, again, limit people's ability to access basic medical care. It's a test that tells you whether you're sick or not. Like, why are we restricting access to that? Bananas. Bananas. Okay, let's watch the last 4 minutes. Last 4 minutes.
Before the origins are so far in the past that they're no longer discernible was something that we felt was important. Ultimately, we received almost unanimous support for that at the World Health Assembly table.
Chinese state media is intensifying its attacks on the Australian government following the passage of the World Health Assembly motion for investigation into the pandemic.
The Chinese government went into free-for-all.
Son of
They
a,
took that as a
absolutely.
great offence,
I was
which
about
I
to
think
say
is
that.
outrageous.
News just in, and China will impose.
What do you mean you think it's outrageous? You think it's outrageous that we were offended that you all buggered off to fucking Hawaii while we were on fire? And it's outrageous the Chinese government would... Okay, here's the thing. This could have absolutely started anywhere. There is no, like... This is a result, this virus is a result of encroaching on wildlife territory. It's a result of us fucking the planet up. That's what it is. Oh my God, you're Closing the Gap and concession and you need to get a referral to get a PCR as well. What the fuck? Hey, Abe's. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. I had no idea we was restricting healthcare so much in this country. And people want to say that we have free, accessible healthcare. Oh, New South. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my Lord. That is just, we have a drive-through PCR testing clinic here. And you do have to go online and register with them that you're going in. The state is so prestigious. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big part of why it's so hard to get reliable COVID stats, of course. Oh, I had your YouTube up all day and I still miss this. Oh, well. Yeah, and reliable self-awareness because we're not getting the information about the symptoms of COVID either. We're not having reliable self-awareness about whether we've got COVID or not because we're not getting reliable information about the way this virus is changing and morphing. And, yeah, you can't report it anymore. Yeah, I know. You can't. They don't even ask you anymore. They don't even ask you anymore.
There's an 80% tariff on Australian barley imports.
Beijing's decision overnight effectively blocks a billion-dollar market.
Our values aren't up for trade, our democracy is not up for trade, and our sovereignty is not up for trade.
Oh, my goodness.
A really big part of the Chinese culture is a thing of face.
Yes, it is.
And part of
Absolutely.
face is respect.
Respect.
And
yeah,
for a tiny little country to be pointing at China to say, yeah, you need to do this, you need to do this, it's totally incorrect.
Yeah.
I mean, people were dying all around the world and they were worried about face. Give me a break.
Oh my goodness. Tell me that you do not understand the concept of people having varying cultures. Well, he did. He just told us he has no concept of varying cultures around the world. China dealt with this a lot better than we did in terms of the way they cracked down and limited people's movement and they tried to contain the situation. It's like, it's really hard to do when you're when you're patient zero, when it started in your backyard. It's much harder to do than when you've got an ocean between you and where the virus started. Okay? Like, seriously. Cost you $90 to get a PCR. Oh, God. Far out. Yeah. It's such an executive functioning, multi-step, cost-prohibitive barrier to get a PCR. So people have to be aware it's essential to get a PCR or else not worth the bother. Yeah, shut the fuck up, scumboy. Absolutely. And like saving face is exactly is a big part of the Chinese culture. It absolutely is. Indescripts will give you one for $20. Okay. I'm going to put that up on the screen so everyone can see it. We're over on Twitch and YouTube for the chat. If anybody wants to join over there, watching as much as we can get through of the Morrison years of Nemesis. I've actually just decided I'm clocking off right now. I don't know if anyone can tell from the look on my face, but I think I'm going to throw up from pain. Like, I'm in so much pain right now. My foot is killing me. I need to put my foot up, I think. Like, I can feel it swelling. Oh, that's a really good idea. See if we could set up some sort of community float for people who need access to PCR scripts. That's a really good idea. Mate, you silly goose. I know. I'm Amy, I broke my foot. I broke my foot. My foot went to sleep. I stood on it funny. Hi, hello from the Blue Mountains, Matt. How you going? Good to see you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I know. I'm actually going to have to log off. I know it's a short one today. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm actually feeling nauseous. And I was putting it down to ScoMo and all of this, but like I can feel my foot pulsing. No, not my driving foot, Emery. No stress. It's not my driving foot. It's my not driving foot. Yep. My not driving foot. The foot I don't need for driving. The foot that I can actually have my foot up on the dash and still my left foot I can have up on the dash and still drive comfortably. So, yeah. Rice protocol. Okay. Oh God. I know. Basic first aid. Basic first aid. I know. Yep. Rest, ice, forget the other two. Yeah, log off. Yep. It's and honestly, compression, elevation. Thank you. I know. Fucking, I'm a dickhead. Compression, elevation. Yep. I'm gonna go do my rice. Thank you for reminding me. Go and get tested, guys. I know that apparently you've got to get a note from the doctor to go and you got to get a prescription from the doctor to get a PCR test, but it is worth doing. We are not out of this yet. Mask up. Avoid staying in it's airborne, so stick with nice open aired places. Like, try and stay, circulation is paramount. Keep the windows and doors open. Keep the circulation flowing. Soft pillows. I am rice with my left ankle. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hopefully on Monday I'll have it sorted out on Monday. Keep your sick kids home. Yes. Keep your sick kids home. Yeah. Decent watch to chat ratio today. Absolutely. Pretty good. Wonder how that happened. We had someone here keeping us on track. We had the boss in the room. That's always helpful. Yeah, I'm taking those off. I'm undoing my hair. I'm logging off. I will be talking to you guys in the Discord. Everyone needs an Emery. Everyone needs an Emery. Absolutely they do. Everyone needs an Emery in their lives. Life isn't complete without an Emery. I can speak from experience. If you can't find your own store bought, it's fine. Well, we got one, so we're good. I gotta say, that is one thing that I will credit for TikTok for, is the community that it has provided. Because I think every single person who's in here right now I met through TikTok, and that's incredible. Absolutely. We can do the nuclear policy chat next week. Yep, we do have to talk about the nuclear policy. We absolutely do. We got to get through that. Maybe we'll have a break from Nemesis, because I didn't realize how triggering all of the COVID stuff would be for me. Now I was just floating amongst the tubes of the internet. Yeah. Love you guys. Thank you all so much for joining today. Thank you for being here. Jump on the Discord if you want to chat books and stuff. We've got the book club starting up, or even if you just want to know when I'm going to be going live, because I will try and remember to post on there when I'm going live, I guess, so that we can have chats. And yeah, what's TikTok? Is that the algorithm platform that has patterns that Meta can't use? Yeah, yeah. Oh, how do you get to the Discord though? So if you go to my TikTok profile and you click on the link, it'll take you to the Ko-fi, and you go to the Ko-fi and there'll be a link to the Discord. And if you go to the Discord, there we go. There is Emery coming in clutch with the link for the Ko-fi again, where you can find the link to the Discord, all those wonderful things. Yeah, now that we've got the Discord there, I am going to have to start blocking the haters more, because otherwise they'll be able to find the Discord. They'll be able to come and stalk us, and that's not fun, is it? Let's get this visual webcam. I need HD tomorrow in my life. You're going to see HD tomorrow on Sunday. We're gonna, because that's not complicated at all. Yeah, I know. You're going to see HD tomorrow on Sunday. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Love you guys so much. Thank you for joining today. Again, I'm sorry that this has been a rather short one. Yeah, 4K Ultra HD Void. Absolutely. And maybe the Void Bringer will actually join us on the live. I think that's why he hasn't been on here, because he's just not willing to let himself be seen in such inferior quality. But any hoozles. Thanks for joining, guys, today. Sorry we are logging off a little bit earlier than usual, but yeah, foot screaming, scummos like doing me in, can't take it anymore. Hoomst what? Oh, you can hear my foot from here. Yeah, it is rather shrill. I've been yelling to try and be heard. Oh, Hoomst is the Void. Where is my little Void? Ninja, can you see the Void in the background there? Hang on, can you see the little Void in the background? Hang on, I'll try and show it on the TikTok. I'll try and show it. There's the Void. There's my little Void bringer sleeping down there. He's my little. If I had a real webcam, you might. Yeah, fair enough. Fair cop. Alrighty. That is a better camera if you use your phone. At least it's mobile. And I can do this with it. There's the Void. There's the little Void. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Definitely logging off now. And yep, see you Monday at the same time for a discussion of the LNP's proposed nuclear policy, which is a joke. It's a fucking joke. Am I